welcome you all to the Pragati Vichar Literature Festival 2023 organized by Panelist Media, and this year's theme is Taking Humanity Forward. Today we all are present here to celebrate the love for literature and discuss the pivotal subject matters which are prevailing in our society and establish engaging conversation with the audience. So today we have very lovely guests. First panelist we have Vani Kaushal. Welcome, ma'am. And second panelist, we have Ms. Shefali Tripathi Mehta, sorry. And we are immensely glad to have you, both of you, on board today for the Pragati Vichar Literature Festival. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you to the Panelist Media people. Thank you, team.
Thank you so much. So today we will be discussing women empowerment. So the today's session theme is women empowerment, and under this session, the topic is feminism beyond me too. So let's start with the discussion. First, I will start with the I will introduce my panelists. First, Vani Kaushal. Vani Kaushal is an international author, a journalist, and a popular columnist. She took a plunge into the world of fiction writing after working as a business journalist for leading in newspapers like the Times of India and the Financial Express. She explores the other side of fame in her latest crime fiction romance, Second Later. Vani has already been profiled by international media houses like Transcontinental Times, apart from Tribune, Sunday, Guardian, Dainik Bhaskar, Indian Express, Yagmar, and Doordarshan. Thank you, ma'am. And now we have second on our panel, Ms. Shefali Tripathi Mehta. Shefali Tripathi Mehta is a writer, author based in Bangalore. She works with the Azim Premji University and writes on social issues, travel, parenting, and disability awareness. She volunteers with Arushi, a not-for-profit organization for people with disabilities, and curates Gone Art to support tribal artists. Her most recent work is the novel People on Our Roof. Welcome, ma'am. And I hope that I would just with your introduction, exactly I put it in a exact manner. So,
Thank you,
yeah. So let's just start with the discussion Q&A round. So the topic is feminism beyond Me Too. First of all, I will discuss your book. So first, People on Your Roof. I will start with Shefali, ma'am. Your book, People on Our Roof, profoundly entails women's struggles with relationship. So what inspired you to shed light on this aspect specifically? Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. So I think that all stories finally, I mean, are about relationships, isn't it? So, I mean, in People on Our Roof, I set out to write the story of a young woman living in quite extraordinary circumstances. Nana, all of 23, is looking after a family of 4 people, and 2 among them, her mother and her younger sister, have mental health disorders. Now, this is a big stigma in our society. We are conditioned to believe that people with mental health issues are different, and popular films and media have, caricatured madness as something to laugh at, something to make fun of, and sometimes also something to be afraid of. So consequently, this family is ostracized. Personally, Nana faces difficulties. First of all, she's to care for the family, and without any support from anyone outside. And the only emotional anchor that she had, her grandmother, has also passed. Then there is the angle of her father. She's torn between love and hate for her father, who has abandoned the family, but she has very wonderful memories of him. So there's this, she's torn. She doesn't know if what kind of person he was and why he abandoned them. So these are relationships that are specific to Nana. But apart from that, there are relationships that are the same for all young people, that like, she is in love with a person whose family doesn't accept him. There's another person who loves her but who she cannot reciprocate his love. And growing up like this, um, with no permanence in her relationships, she carries this to her adult life, and what today we call as trust issues. So Naina has trust issues in her relationships. So what instead of inspired me, I mean, I would say what compelled me to write this story is, these are things that happen all around us, and in writing stories, we just hold up the mirror to ourselves and society. We just, want us to stop and think about what we believe and how we act. So that is what this story is about, about relationships in this light. But it's a lot more. It talks about how mental health disorders, affect families and individuals, and yeah. So yeah. And in the, I mean, also there is the angle of Nana in the that is the protagonist of my novel, is a much fulfilled and self-actualized person in the end. And it is clearly that marriage is not the end all and be all of all romantic relationships, and men and women today have several beautiful, gratifying relationships. Everything does not need to end in marriage as it happened in the past. So those are the kind of things that I have talked about in this. I've tried to tell in my story.
So, Shefali ma'am, I would like to know, do you resonate with Naina, your story protagonist? So, is this a fictional that you have created?
It is a fictional character, but of course, you, as an author, you do bring in your, what you see around you into a story. So, yeah, she may be a lot like me. I think people need to read and see for themselves, judge for themselves. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So moving ahead, next is Vani Kaushal, and your book, Seconds Later, it also talks about, fresh and enigmatic take on women's struggle. Like Shefali's ma'am book is about women's relationship, and your book talks about women's struggle. So how did you come up with the theme for this book? Seconds Later.
Wonderful. First of all, it was such a pleasure to listen to Shefali talk about her book. And I'm going to check this book out. It's available to buy on Amazon, right? So wonderful theme that you have touched upon, and I think the areas that you are covering are lovely. And what I can take from what you said was that we somewhere along, we as writers, or our writing or our artwork is like we hold out a mirror to the society, like this is what we are doing, and in a way that sort of helps us to reflect on what we've been doing and what can be done to make things better. Now, coming to my novel, I have a copy here. It's called Seconds Later. So I'll tell you briefly how the idea came to me, what it is about, and then you can see if if you as a young person can resonate with this. So when my first book came out, what happened was that I wasn't really very comfortable putting myself out there on social media platforms and all. And I found that a lot of things were very new for me, like posting all these pictures and getting tagged in all sorts of posts. And also early on, I realized that this was not okay. Everybody wants to be famous, but do you actually realize that, on the other side of fame, there's all this public image that you're supposed to create, which may not be anything like you. And especially as a woman, it's very difficult because obviously, you're continuously being judged. Like people are like, oh, this is not graceful, this is not respectful, or she's just putting herself out there. And you're always conscious because that's the way you've been brought up. Like, everything that you do is going to reflect in a certain way on your family, on your upbringing and all. So, and the thing is that it's not something that my mother or my grandmother have dealt with. So I have no guidebook to guide me what should be my behavior on social media. Okay. So that said, when I saw myself getting tagged in all sorts of posts, and I'm supposed to put my opinion out there, and I'm being judged and criticized or appreciated, or things like that, it was like I started feeling like there was a point where I started feeling very vulnerable, and people were stalking me. I was getting marriage proposals on Facebook and Instagram, and honestly, I didn't know how to deal with that. So there was this one day where I was just sitting in my room, and I was feeling, particularly that day, I was feeling very vulnerable. I don't know why, but I had this feeling that somebody was stalking me, and that was just some bit of my imagination. Maybe that was not true or whatever. But instead of shoving that fear under the carpet, I let it just come inside, and I just felt that fear, and I let it, I just felt it so deeply. And in that moment, I am telling you, this whole story came to me about a young girl who does not understand fame, but she wants to be famous, and she makes it out there. And then how she probably realizes, how uh, it's not so easy to deal with fame and to put yourself out there and your opinions out there, and to just to just create this projection of yourself. But the thing with her is that this is actually crime fiction slash romance. And the thing with her is that she is from a fairly rich background. She has the money, she has the charm and the wit and everything. But what she doesn't realize is that the world is still not very kind to you. And then she goes through that whole stalking ordeal, where people are stalking her, they make her life difficult. The novel starts with her lying in a pool of blood. She's being stabbed by one of her stalkers. She doesn't even know who this person is, but all she understands is that this person had been stalking her for a while, and she has just a couple of seconds to sort of come to grips with what has happened. And she realizes that she may not actually survive this. But that's these are the last few seconds. Now, whether she makes it through the whole thing or not, I'll leave it to our readers to explore. But this novel is all about her journey of the self actualization, realizing that yes, the world is difficult as it is, but how she can cope with it, because the power is within you, within all of us, to deal with all this. Today, I'm a much better person. I know how to deal with all sorts of nonsense that comes my way, and all sorts of roses. There are also people are very, very appreciative also, and I really truly appreciate that. So I think the power is within us. So this novel comes like a full circle, where she starts off as a very vulnerable person, but ultimately, she realizes that there is power in all of us. So that's what sort of the story is all about. Essentially, it's crime fiction, and it's a thriller, by the way. So it was like really fun to write this, and this is like a super paced novel where I have many multiple perspectives. Like I write it from the protagonist point of view. Then there are other three men who are equally, they share the book with her, the journey with her. So this was so exciting to talk, to write this book from so many multiple perspectives. And if you talk about whether I resonate with the book, well, partly, but this is all a work of my imagination. Like bits and pieces may have been borrowed from my life, but I just wanted it to be a work of fiction because I feel, and this is just something I feel, that if as a fiction writer you write from your imagination, then you can expand yourself so much more than outside your comfort zone and all. You can create worlds. And that's what I try to do with the story. But if I write just from my experience, then it sort of just cuts me down to the city I was born in and the educational institutions I went to and all that. So I wanted to step out of my comfort zone and just span it across a lot of cities, and also many cities I haven't visited. I basically just relied a lot on research. But people who read it and the reviews that are pouring in, they are like, they haven't complained. I would just say, I'll just be humble that readers have been very amazing so far. And they're like, okay, it's all authentic, doesn't come across as research at all, and it's fine. So, yeah, if that answers your question.
The excitement is on a phase that we can see that how much you are excited about right now, talking about your work. And I feel like both books somehow, relate to everyone. Even you, most of the things are women related, but it's also in some, twisted touch that it makes more impactful. So thank you. So since the session topic is feminism beyond Me Too, I would like to know what is the meaning of feminism beyond Me Too. So I would like to start with Shefali ma'am.
So Me Too was a smaller movement within the larger movement of feminism, and I can't hear you.
Could you please speak a little louder? So I'll
okay. Right. What I was saying is that Me Too was a movement within the larger feminism, the movement of feminism, and feminism itself is a work in progress, and it will remain till the issues of gender inequality persist. But we've come a long way, and I think Me Too was a significant landmark, and there is great strength in numbers when women started speaking up. They got the strength from each other, and more women came out and spoke about their experience with sexual harassment, and yeah, since it was on social media, so it gave people a sense of security, anonymity to some extent, where they did not have to be in a physical space in naming their perpetrators. So it was quite amazing, and I think the impact is there for all of us to see, especially in workspaces. I mean, how dare anyone, do something like this to anyone now? I mean, we have the Me Too thing to protect us. But at the same time, when you say what is beyond Me Too, I feel that this movement was restricted to a certain section of women who were on social media, who are educated, who are professionals, English speaking. It was mostly restricted to them. So when we talk of beyond this, is we must talk of how to take this forward to a larger section of women who may be too busy trying to make their two ends meet to, do something about this. And, they may be just closing their eyes to it, like we've been doing for, even in this novel, I've written a lot about, since it is set in the late 90s in Delhi, I've written about how this woman Naina, what she faces daily on the streets, on the bus, and this was very common, and we'd all learned and internalized how to deal with it. To deal with it was to live in denial of it. If I don't speak about it, it has not happened to me. So so it has to go to a larger section of women out there, and that is what we need to do about. And it will take time. It will, but we will need to have every girl in this country educated. Every woman should have gainful employment, and it's very simple. As long as you are financially dependent on men, you will continue to face a lot of these sexual harassment problems or domestic violence, or these things that happen to women. So yeah, that's what I think it would take us to move forward.
But I feel like education doesn't make it, just make a slightest difference. Honestly.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Hello.
Yes.
You are saying that we need to be educated in order to empower women, but I feel like we need to change our mindset, because education till now I feel like it's just to make a slightest difference. It has to be from your family, that we teach our children that to create that mindset around you. Yeah.
Yes. But when girls do not go out to schools, how what they will grow up into. So
Right.
education is important. Good quality education is important. A lot of other
Education
factors,
is
like you
like a
said,
pillar
families.
for them. Yeah. It's
Sorry.
foundation basically for them. Yeah.
The family, the society, everything has to come together finally. But these are, I think, the two basic steps that would help it in a great way.
Absolutely. So moving ahead, Vani ma'am, what's your take on this?
I would just say, so this is an impromptu reply. And by the way, this is an excellent question. I I left active work in 2013. So whatever I'm going to say is going to be based on the experiences that my friends have shared with me. Okay, I'll be upfront about it because I'm self-employed. I work for myself, and whatever opinions I may say over here are based on what I hear and not my personal, because I sit in a room and there is nobody practically. As a full-time writer, there are not many people that you interact with. Okay, having said that, yes, there was a point in time where I was working. I worked for Times of India and for Financial Express, and I used to work in London. I was a lecturer in London. I was a teacher of business studies. So that point of time, and when I was growing up in the 90s, I can tell you this: whatever came out in the open during this Me Too movement was all drawing room or bedroom discussion. We would have that with our best friends. This happened, and that person said this to this person. And we would just keep these things to ourselves, blaming ourselves, feeling guilty that this was all our fault. A groping incident that happened in the bus, or at a cinema hall, or at a supermarket store, we would just keep it to ourselves, thinking, oh, maybe we wore clothes that were not appropriate for us. Or actually, I'm telling you that, so many times I used to commute a lot. Like, I had a scooter, then I had a car. I used to drive around a lot. And being a journalist, I was always around town and going out to meet people and all. And so many times I was followed by men, by stupid, people jo piche gaadi laga lete and all that. And it was very uncomfortable, but I stayed in constant denial that, maybe this is a part of your work, because you go out and these things happen. I think the biggest advantage that people had, and especially for women, was that firstly you realized, man, this is so big. If I'm not alone, why am I so stupid to take all this burden of guilt on myself? It's nothing to do with my clothes, my education, my going out to work. It's nothing to do with me. This is happening with everybody out there, even people in the United States who practically claim that, oh, we don't have this and we don't have abuse and assault and everything. Everybody, even their top actresses, have come out with that. Okay, so for me, that was like, okay, I'm not alone. And secondly, I think beyond it being just a drawing room or a bedroom discussion, I think the whole social media made it very massive, because not just women, I think children, like, above 18, whoever is there on Twitter, everybody today knows that this is not done. And I think the message is slowly getting percolated, to the grassroots level as well. Like today, I have a house help, and then she's also educating her daughters that, what, you have to be careful, and if something of this sort happens, report back to us. It is nothing to do with you, and we'll take care. So I think somewhere along, and today when I go out, I'm self-employed. When I go out at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and I have many friends who go out for drinks, and they go out for to dance clubs and all in my city. They are not bothered about being followed and all because of the police and all. Okay, I would say everything said and done, I think this whole movement created a lot of support groups, a lot of sisterhood, feeling of sisterhood was created, that, what, you're not alone. You can report about these incidents to HR people, and many, I know in my personal experience, a lot of people did report, and these things were taken care of in the end, that, either the boss was asked to leave the organization or something of that sort happened. And I think, yes, I agree with Shefali that, the message did not go down to the lowest of levels, people who are not educated. But I think then it is our duty to keep, taking this message down to people who are not on social media, or who do not read newspapers, and just to educate them that this is not done. Also, what you said, Jyotsna, is very right. I think it's also as families, when we have brothers and fathers and husbands and whatever, I think these discussions made a lot of impact on the male psyche as well, and they realized that this was not done. That, you can't be out in public and be making feminist jokes or comments, and this is atrocious. So I think everybody is much more aware today, and we can just say that, many more movements to come. But I think this is a step in the right direction, and so much there is to be done. But okay, I'm happy with whatever changes it brought about.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was well said answer. So my next question to you, that you have mentioned social media. So I would like to ask, how has social media contributed to the cause of feminism? So Shefali ma'am.
So I like I said, it gave women a certain anonymity. You could just sit in your house and send out a message, and there's this immediacy. Immediately it reaches thousands of people, and so it helped in that way. And the reach of social media is so far and wide, and so you saw one message, two message, and then women started feeling that they could also do this. So I think, like Vani said, it's a virtual support group that was created, and women felt empowered to be able to do this. I mean, otherwise, how many women can gather the courage to go out and report to someone, or tell someone outside of their close, sometimes even not within their close. We were afraid to tell our families about, talk of such things in our families. Okay, it might reflect on ourselves, like Vani said, maybe I did something inappropriate, maybe I gave some wrong signals, maybe I wasn't wearing appropriate clothes, or so we had this, we grew up believing that if we are attracting unwanted attention, it has something to do with us, and suddenly it changed for women. That's why it's such a landmark thing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So moving ahead, Vani ma'am, what's your opinion on this context here?
You are muted.
You are on mute.
I said, can you please repeat the question for me once?
Okay. So my question on how has social media contributed to the cause of feminism?
Wonderful. I think Shefali has resonated. She's pretty much spoken what I also think, that social media. First thing you need to understand is not for the elitists. It's basically for everybody. Like today, you have people who are like blue collared workers. They have an Instagram and a Twitter account. Everybody. So number one, yes, it gives like a everybody has an opinion out there. That is there. I completely agree. But if you want to create noise, make some noise, you just have to put something out there and it can go viral within seconds, so people notice. That in itself is amazing. It's huge power. So very soon, it's out there, it's on Facebook, and all the news channels pick it up, and from there. So I think that sort of created in itself, yes, I agree, it is good. It also creates distortions, because so many times whatever you are looking at, it's not real, it's not happened, or the way it's being said is not real. But I think it's a huge power in itself, where at least women, we, if something happens with you, you can record a video, just put it out there, and it gets taken care of. The whole public jumps into the fray, and everybody wants to play a part in it, whether it be this Bollywood celebs or the politicians or common people, students, everybody. So I think it's a power, yes, but yes, there are possibilities that the original message also might get distorted along the way. So I think very few people have that thing, like, to keep their head straight while they are going through all their social media feeds and all, because so many times they are trying to influence your opinion in a certain way. So that way, I think whatever the rhetoric has been on feminism has been distorted a bit, but otherwise I think it's got it has had overall very positive effects also on the whole movement, the Me Too movement. I think it was supported majorly by the social media people. There were Facebook posts being made. So many of my friends came out, and they made long social media posts and all, and everybody was sharing those posts. So imagine if a post gets shared 200 times, at least it's reached some thousands of people in 1 second. Yeah, this is huge power.
Yeah, but the only difference of opinion I have here is, the section of people who are not consuming this in the way it should. I mean, most the women that I spoke about are using their social media as a source of entertainment, more as rather than it helping them in empowering themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once we start, thinking social media as a way to get right information, then that day we will achieve such things. And I feel like maybe after a few years we can achieve that. Yeah. And thank you so much. I agree that you just totally said. Yeah, it was absolutely, I agree with you. So, what institutional and societal changes need to be made for the women to be empowered? Right. So again, I would like to start with Shefali ma'am.
So, like I said, good quality education, employment opportunities for girls and women will take them far. Women have to empower themselves. Life is not a fairy tale. There is no Prince Charming coming to kiss you into, self-awareness. There is a khudi ko kar buland itna. So women have to rise and shine. I mean, they have so much strength. Um, Women must challenge every idea that stops them from moving ahead in life, in doing what they want to do, in fulfilling their dreams. I mean, be safe and sensible, but also be brave and rational, be inspired, go after your goals like, you're possessed. Did that answer your question? I forgot what you asked. I just went with the.
And I feel like that if we want to uplift women, so we need to show some support, right?
Yes,
Because
yes,
we are not overpowering men or something. We are just asking for the equal rights
right.
that and it is necessity, yeah, to grow and flourish being a woman in our society.
Yeah, see, feminism is kind of become a word that we want to avoid now, and we speak more about women's empowerment, because it's a kind of slogan shouting, flag holding, kind of anti men connotations that it has acquired along the way, but. Like you said, women have to support each other. Those who have been able to break the glass ceiling, so to say, should extend their hand to help others, and that is the only way we will, be able to move ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Vani ma'am, once again, I'm repeating my question. What institutional and societal changes need to be made for women to be empowered?
Wonderful. That's such a lovely question. Again, I would just say that society is not outside of us. It's we who are a part of the society. So the first thing I would really insist upon as women is we get out of the victim mindset. I think that till the time, we consider ourselves victims of our situation, family circumstances, and, he said this and she said this. I think a lot of if you watch the TV series, Bahu Bechari and all that, I think they're all about like, she's surrounded by family members and society, and everybody is judging her, and she's a poor victim. And I think somewhere along empowerment will come when we stop behaving like victims and we take our power back. We are, at least, I'm just talking about the educated women, and then of course we can also talk about the huge lot of women who are uneducated. So the educated women, at least people like us, if we continue to blame the government, the policies, the society, I think the fault lies with us because we are giving our power away too easily. Okay, rather than that, I think we have to empower ourselves, take the power back. If there are skills that we need to learn, we have to, just keep stepping up, stepping up, stepping up. Also, educate people in our environment, whether it be our family members, our brothers, fathers, sisters, whoever, keep empowering them. अभी क्या होता है, even we, and I'm telling this truth, you know, you look at a woman's picture in, say, a Vogue magazine, and she's half dressed. I'm just saying, and something deep goes inside you and it says, oh my God, I don't look as beautiful as she does. You know, even in our hearts, we are not completely each there for each others as sisters, that okay, it's okay to be we have our own beauty standards in the society, and we continue to feel that we are less than somebody. Even एक दूसरे से कंपटीशन करते रहते हैं. So yeah, how can we feel empowered if we are creating competition between us? I think there is so much that we can do, and we are the society, and it starts from us. So, number one, creating more feelings, creating more platforms where we feel the sisterhood, where if somebody is pretty, somebody is doing well, earning well, somebody is just pulling, being the breadwinner of the family, they get talked about as much as somebody else, and also reflecting it in the TV series that we are watching, the art forms that we are watching, because after all, it's like art imitates life. So whatever we are watching is actually what's probably going on in our homes. I may not be watching all that content, but I'm sure, a lot of women are watching that content and they are like, हाय हमारी भी जिंदगी ऐसी ही होती है हमारी भी सास अरे यार why are you vilifying the sass, why are you vilifying half the women? Don't do that. So I would say we continue to judge us. We carry these huge burdens from our grandmothers and mothers where they were judged for everything, blamed and guilt shamed for everything. I think somewhere along we have to release those burdens ourselves, empower ourselves, and then we can also create that ecosystem around us where we support other people who are not as educated or as advanced in life or career as us, जिन्हें नहीं पता, जैसे शिफाली ने बोला, जैसे not every woman is using internet to empower herself, to learn something. ऐसा हर एक के साथ नहीं होता. So maybe just passing the message along, and things are changing very rapidly. I mean, Jyotsna, I can see that in your generation, like I can see a huge lot of change. You are like so bindas about stuff. I don't think you hear two shit about, कौन क्या बोल के चाहता है एक tar tar tar, so I think you guys are much more empowered than I ever was or I still am. So I think I can see that things are changing in our society. And please continue to keep this change going because we are the society after all.
Thank you so much. And yeah, you rightly said that internalized misogynist behavior needs to be prevented if we want to grow in our life to make women empowerment. And yes, now today's generation is doing very good. And I'm hoping that we will be doing good and we will change everything rapidly. Yeah. So my last question.
I think I joked. I'm not wrong, right? It's like today women are very self-respecting. Like nobody can come and say things to you. I think that's the way, at least in big cities. I don't know if it's like that in small tier two cities as well, but at least in big cities and all, I think women are like they can go anywhere. So many women are taking solo trips today,
Right.
and they're
Yeah.
thinking about like the careers that you cannot even dream of.
Absolutely agree with you. And this is happening, and we are seeing it every day. Yeah, even with my friends and family, I am seeing this right now. So, my last question to you that we have discussed about the barriers, but in a detailed manner, I would like to ask what do you think is the most significant barrier to the women's empowerment? Right. So, again, Shefali ma'am, I would like to start with you.
Um, like I think we've already spoken about this at length. So the biggest barrier is themselves. I think they have to let go of the thought from their heads and just claim their space in society, in the world, claim their share of all the opportunities that are out there for everyone. So yeah, that's it. You have to constantly learn and grow, and that should never stop at any age. Yeah.
Well, so moving ahead, Vani ma'am. So what's the most significant barrier?
I completely agree with Shefali. The barriers are all within us. I think we are living in a world where there are so many more opportunities. I feel like my grandmom from my father's side was just fifth grade pass. My nani ji from my mother's mother, she didn't even go to school, but she could read and write. From there, to my mother, who is a graduate, to me, who's a double postgraduate, and I'm pursuing my dreams. To now the other women, who were born like maybe who are 14 or 15 or probably your age, the change has been significant in the last 50 to 60 years. So what has happened is we're still carrying that age old legacy where women did not, where women were constantly being judged for their cooking skills and all that. I think somewhere along we'll have to share that baggage. And, we'll have to leave that baggage behind, like, Priyanka Chopra. She's so open about it that she doesn't know how to cook. And you can't judge her for that. You can't judge people because they are elder than their husbands, or they are going out and making more money than their husbands, or they are more good looking than their husbands, or they are deciding not to have children. I have friends who decided not to marry. They're like, they just don't want any marriage. They are happy as it is. They are single. So I think somewhere along, we are the ones who have to open our hearts and minds to these new paradigms, which are opening up for us, that it's okay to be single, it's okay to have a career and not have a career. It's okay to not have children, or to pursue whatever comes to your mind. If you want to be a space scientist, go do it. So I think the barriers are all within us, and I think the societies, at least the one we live in, is a bit more supportive. I think I would say that, and it's improving. Things are improving for us, but it's upon us to continue this change and also make sure that it goes down to all the levels, the grassroots levels as well. So that's all I have to say.
I just want to add to that women also need to share their stories with other women. That has such a great power and impact when success stories are shared. Of course, we need to know about all the injustices that are happening to women, and but it is equally and maybe probably, according to me, more important to share the stories of women who have um, crossed these barriers and made a life for themselves.
Yeah.
And I believe that we need to normalize such things. Whether it's if you would like to marry someone or not, if you would like to pursue this or not, we need to normalize everything. And at last, we need to show support, which is very, very important, and equal opportunities for women and men, because our men are rightly, yeah, rightfully they are share the equal status with women. So we need to think equally for everyone to make a harmonious society. Yeah. So at last, thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Shefali ma'am, Ms. Vani ma'am. Thank you so much and sharing your very enlightening thoughts to the audience. I just, had a lovely experience with both of talking to you. It's like very nice. Thank you so much joining us for today.
Thank you. Thank you to the whole team of Frontlist Media. You all have been so lovely. Thank you,
Thank
Shefali.
you.
Thank you very much for having me here. It was a
Thank you
pleasure
so much.
speaking with you, Vani. Yeah. Thank you, Jyotsna.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.